Jaws was a film that notoriously made people afraid to go back in the water, and caused a whole slew of great white shark deaths. For the record, great white sharks are more or less peaceful to humans, so you really don't need to worry about them. But not Jaws. This film is a great example of suspense over shock horror. You don't actually see Jaws much at all in this film, which keeps it timeless and also creates a tension you can cut with a knife. Of course, the acting and cinematography are on point with Spielberg directing. Jaws is literally a film that scared an entire generation, and while it may not have the same impact it once had, it's still a masterpiece of cinema. You need to see Jaws if you enjoy horror, Steven Spielberg, or just film in general, because Jaws is really one of those timeless additions. Armageddon is one of the better made end-of-the-world films out there. If you have seen films like Core, Day After Tomorrow, or Deep Impact, you know the drill on the general makeup of the story. Yet, by having an exceptional cast and director, Armageddon is better than any of those aforementioned films. While it won't make you pause and think, it may bring a tear to your eye in a few places, or make you grip your chair with anticipation. It's absolutely a shallow film, but it stands up as a guilty pleasure of mine that I can still watch even today and get some satisfaction from. Of course, some of the special effects haven't aged so well, as there is a fair amount of CGI, but it really doesn't ruin it in any way. If you're looking for an easy sci-fi drama to turn your mind off to, this is a good choice. It won't change your perspective or open your eyes to new film techniques, but sometimes it's nice to just sit back and watch Bruce Willis try to save the world. Except it is a pretty dumb movie. But it has heart and a strong cast. Basically, the plot is Justin Long makes a fake college to avoid disappointing his parents, and then it gets out of hand. It does play around one of the biggest issues of our generation, though. College, and how absurd it's really become in the last 30 plus years. The state of campuses have changed since films like Animal House, Old School, or even Van Wilder, and this film gives us a glimpse into what the modern college world is like through Jonah Hill's character and through Justin Long's parody of college. If you're looking for it, you can find a few different ideas to chew on and some social commentary, but overall it's just great to see so many talented comedians screwing around in their prime, and honestly, what 20-something doesn't love seeing someone take a shot at college institutions? Dredd is a film that on the surface is quite simple. Dredd is here to deliver justice against a mob boss with a rookie psychic Miss Anderson in tow. However, under closer inspection, this film excels in the universe it builds up and the very interesting cinematography that it employs. As Dredd fights his way up the Peachtree's superstructure, trying to get to Mama, we get a look at an impoverished dystopia that surrounds these characters. Unlike the original film that went to great lengths to explain the environment we were in, Dredd chooses to just submerge us into the seedy underbelly of this world and let us figure it out for ourselves. There is a great deal of attention to detail and a substantial amount of grey morality throughout. Dredd really isn't a good guy, and most of the thugs are just kind of average people as well. There's a couple of scenes that actually take time out to demonstrate that they are average citizens, who are potentially more morally justified than Dredd himself. When you combine this interesting universe with the superb cinematography and slow-mo effects, you can't help but be captivated. Easily a top pick for action movies in the last 10 years. Check this out if you don't mind some explicit violence and you enjoy a solid shoot-'em-up film. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is a remake of a British trilogy that was based on a trilogy of novels. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing part 2 or 3 of this franchise, but this movie is a standalone tale that centers around a missing persons case. We follow Daniel Craig's character Michael as he tries to discover the truth behind the cold case, and along the way he employs Lisbeth, Rooney Mara, who is the girl from the title. And man is she a knockout character. I don't mean sexy or anything, I mean she is a very well done character. Her eccentricities are as captivating as they are bewildering. While Michael is more or less a standard straight man, Lisbeth is anything but traditional. In fact, not only is Lisbeth incredibly untraditional, but the rest of the cast proves to be far from normal as well. It feels like Michael is the only normal person in this sea of madness. By choosing to center in on him, we have this grounded point of view from which we see the rest of the world. However, on the other side we have Lisbeth, who is the counterbalance to Michael's character. Her own insanity allows us to see through the inexplicable characters we meet along the way in a fashion that Michael is just incapable of. There is a strong commentary on normality in this film and its overall irrelevance to capability. This is a very interesting story thematically. I don't have time here to dive into all of the intricacies of the social issues at play, but rest assured that none of that prevents you from enjoying the simple mystery that unfolds in front of you. There are so many different layers that you could watch it over and over, diving deeper and deeper into what makes The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo great. I recommend this to anyone who enjoys mysteries and is up to watching something a little bit less traditional than, say, The Usual Suspects.
And welcome back! That was Netflix 12. We're here to talk a bit about it. Well, mostly Nick this time, because I honestly have only seen Jaws out of the list. You want to kick us off?
Well, I think I've said most of what I want to in the review there, but yeah, I think we had a pretty solid group of movies. There's the two kind of mediocre films on here with Accepted and Armageddon. You know, they're both something you can turn your brain off to if you just want something funny or something with some action and drama. Get a bit of both.
I'm really sure the set designer, for what I've seen out of Armageddon, wouldn't like it if you called them mediocre, but yeah, no, I'm sure that the star power doesn't like to be called mediocre, but we all know when something's Requiem for a Dream, you know, yeah. We all know when it goes from blockbuster to...
I enjoy Michael Bay films and stuff. I enjoy seeing those explosions, and I have fun with them. But at the same time, it's not Jaws, it's not Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and it's not even Dredd, because Dredd is something that's kind of exceptional. It's probably the most surprising film on the list to get such a high rating in my mind, because you expect just kind of another dumb shoot-'em-up movie, but everything's just so well done. Like, even there, you just see those little clips of the slow-mo. There's a fair amount of that, and those colors and the way it pops.
It's not what I thought Dredd would be like. I thought, just looking off the posters, bias, thought it would be a little bit more like Expendables, you know?
No, it's an exceptional film. Like, Expendables, worse than anything on this list in my mind. But, yeah, it's pretty good. And then there are the two more high-caliber films on here as well, with... Well, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which you haven't seen, but it is a mystery film I recommend. Something I neglected to mention that is kind of important is it's pretty graphic, sexually graphic. Not that it's not going to try to turn you on, but there is sexual violence in there, and that can be very uncomfortable for some audiences, so keep that in mind. But despite that, I don't think that should take away from it, and it's a really well done film, really well done characters. Wish we got the other two in the series, but yeah, take what you can get, I guess.
Yeah. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I might be in the mood for a thriller sometime.
Yeah, absolutely check it out if you're looking for a thriller and you're just up for something a little less traditional.
Mm-hmm. And that leaves us with Jaws, yeah. Oof. That, Is it a good movie? Did you like it? Have you seen it? Because, oh man, like, sequels be damned, but like the first one, the acting's good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Pacing, when I first saw it, I didn't have the patience for 70s pacing. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's older, and films have progressed in a way that, yes, its pacing would be bad by today's standards, but by the standards of the time, it is superb. And it does build a tension that, like, it uses that structure very well.
Mm-hmm.
It does everything very well. Like, I hear stories about people digging their fingernails into their significant others during this film and, you know, screaming and being terrified of lakes. Like, lakes! There's no sharks in a lake, but...
It messed me up as a kid, that's for sure. It's very powerful suggestion, because it's an explosive movie, sort of, for the time, but at the same time, it's like, I know a shark wouldn't really behave like that, but good goddamn, we gotta kill this thing, and they didn't really overblow it. This isn't Deep Blue Sea. No. This is very moderate, very matter-of-fact, and it's a monster movie, and, oh man, you always want success out of what you make, but I don't think it's pretty unprecedented.
Yeah, well, it was revolutionary, but it wasn't revolutionary in the way, like, Star Wars showed us something we'd never seen before. It did show us something, like, movies like Birds had existed. There were a lot of Japanese giant monster films at the time.
Mm-hmm.
There were films like Jaws, but they were B movies.
Yeah.
They're bad movies, basically.
Yeah.
Not Birds. That actually is a class, but that's Hitchcock, and that's a whole other...
But that's just because we're dealing with nature, and it's a monster movie.
Mm-hmm. But it really excelled in a way I don't think anyone expected, and man, is it... And that soundtrack, like, everyone knows that soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Whether you enjoy it or not, if you're a fan of cinema or, like, a film student, it's a staple. It's something really important for the history of film.
It really is. But still, my question for y'all millions at home, hey, and hello, Mom, do you feel Jaws is dated? We seem to be of the opinion that it is. And that is my question for y'all. Do you have one?
I think that's a pretty good question. Only thing I would ask is for the people that have seen The Raid and Dread, and keep in mind, The Raid came first, what do you think of that? Is it different enough to be its own movie, or do you just feel it's a ripoff? Because I think it's different. I know some people that hate Dread because of how similar it is. Just let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed what you saw, like, subscribe, and if you really like us, you can always support us a bit on Patreon.
It's cool. Tons of projects we want to do. But until then, see ya!